Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here, and this is just an audio that I wanted to create because this evening I was able to do an automatic writing or channeled writing with Adronis. And I wanted to talk to Adronis more about the nature of the Orions, about the Orion group, about our interstellar ancestors from Orion. And so the reason I wanted to do this, and it actually has been some time since I've done channeled writing in the form of a video, is that there's a different type of flow that comes through me when I start to do automatic writing, when I start doing channeled writing. And it just feels like there's a lot more fruitfulness of data that comes through when I start going into that automatic writing, channeled writing state. It's not to say that it's better than my vocal channeling with Adronis, as I do enjoy that as well too, because I feel more of his energy when he comes through in that way, and it feels a lot more personable. But the whole idea is just being able to really get in sync with the vocal comprehension and vocabulary, which can be a challenging thing at times. And so when I start doing channeled writing, it flows a lot more easier because I can feel Adronis kind of like going into my own subconscious and choosing more of these words. Whereas in vocal channeling, it's kind of more of a blending in that way, that he can sometimes choose words for me. Sometimes I do my best interpretation to get an impression about what he's saying as the thought flow comes in. So this is anyways the channeled writing tonight that I wanted to share because I found it quite fascinating. And so the following is going to be the transcript that I'm going to read out loud from Adronis as he talks about the Orions. So I'm going to go ahead here and begin. I wrote, "Through the consciousness of Adronis, I wish to ask the question regarding our intergalactic heritage. We can begin with the beings that exist within the constellation of Orion. I'm curious to know what their relationship has been with us as we identify ourselves through this human form. What can be shared regarding them?" Adronis replies, "We thank you for your query, Brad. We will state that the Orion Empire would be what you would consider to be your distant cousins. Understand that there is an embodiment of different races throughout the galaxy that inherit many traits that make up your human genome, to where the Orions only represent one of these instances. The Orion themselves represent an ancestral experimentation of different humanoid beings, ranging from the human-like, reptilian-like, fetoid-like, such as the Greys, avian-like, and aquatic-like. There are different race archetypes that represent the Orion collective. Their contribution to your race identifies its own enrichment, similar to the ethnicity of what you know as the European Aryan archetype. Their nature has been a product of certain servitude, where they have abided through the demands of what one could consider to be their superiors or overlords. These overlords being part of a group existing primarily in the Draco constellation, that have therefore made up a division understood as the Orion Empire. The Orion Empire has been forged for many hundreds of thousands of your years, in counting. The nature to their energy has been that of an ordered establishment, where other planets and star systems throughout local clusters are operated and maintained as it represents certain experimentations. These Orion Chosen Ones, as we will term them, are overseers of particular genetic experimentations happening upon dozens, we will say, of worlds, existing within the span of what could be termed as thousands of light years, representing one band of a sector. This experimentation is all part and parcel of bonding experiments, as it represents expressions of soul, development of apparent ecospheres, ecosystems, and compatible life to exist in complement with the experimentation of these third density bodies that are arranged for soul trials, shall we say. The Orion contribution to your race began in your very early times, within the era that you would know as Mu. Beginning to what you would know as your early Neanderthal races that were eventually altered. Know that the souls that occupied these bodies before further advanced experimentation took place were from different galactic sectors, some of them including that of souls once embodied within the Orion constellation. The nature of the great experimentation with humanity is still an ongoing process. There is an end result that is looking to be established, but because of the complexity of such a hybrid experiment regarding the human race, changes are being constantly made through your collective as a result of returning back into a primordial form. That which aligns the physical body and soul body as one in creating an interconnected union. Much information on certain levels have been forgotten, even through the branches of different races. This information is the key in returning humanity to the primordial energy that represents that who has created your race out of love. Much to the experimentations taking place through the 22 genetic faculties are still ongoing. What is not being understood is the integrity and fruitfulness of the soul and its evolution. This is the primary ingredient, shall we say, in establishing the bond of union between the instrument of the body and the essence of the soul that brings the human being into an embodiment of primordial design. This is not yet understood by the farming races, and so experimentations continue more so on genetic levels to align humanity to the nature of soul and physical body primordial embodiment. We will conclude this transmission now. I am Adronis of Sirius. We will speak to you again, as now is forever, and all is one. So that concludes the channeled writing that Adronis has given me. So it's very, very deep. It's very rich, with a lot of information about the Orions. Now, basically, Adronis is not conveying that the Orions are a horrible race or anything like that. Basically, there's a lot of Orions that are actually helping humanity in regards to our own state of development. But there are still those within the Orion that serve a Draco empire in that way, and that they are basically carrying out orders, almost in that sense like a syndicate is carrying out orders from their larger bosses, so to speak. So there is a mixed bag as it relates to energies within Orion. So this again really just brought in some really incredible information as it relates to the Orion race. I am planning to do some more channeled writing with some of the other races within our galaxy as well, and bringing Adronis' information in this kind of rich text format. So this is again why I wanted to do a channeled writing with him, because just a lot of the information comes through a lot more smoothly than me attempting to, again, try to vocalize it and just work with my own type of comprehension in that way. This just comes through a little bit more smoothly, but I will continue to be doing vocal channelings with Adronis because I love it just as much as this, but again, just offering a different type of flavor, as it were, as it represents the channeled information that Adronis brings through. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Namaste.